Well, there's more in question on what's going to happen. So on April 24th to 26th, we'll have an idea of what to expect. This offseason, it's been pretty quiet as I expected. This regime is just not tripping about it right now. It's just there's no pressure. It seems like Jed York just not trying to tell these guys to step their shit up, but it's just not the case. Like, I feel like they need to have pressure, but we're never going to get that with these guys because they're too comfortable. That's the problem. But when you realize this, sure, we didn't address much on defensive line, of course. Should we have done it in free agency? It wasn't quite as deep talented to get in free agency. There just wasn't quite a few guys to sign. There were mostly guys that you could add in your depth piece or some guys that could have been too priced, and it just wasn't worth the risk. But on the bright side, at least on the draft, you're not going to pay a lot for these talented players, At least you're going to invest some guys in the draft who can contribute and help this team. But you look at the defensive tackle spot. So was Javon Hargrave a big loss to our D-line? He was okay. He wasn't quite the guy that can stop the run as much, but he was an okay pass rusher. But you're going to have to replace that production from the way he played for us. But is it such a big loss? Not really. Malik Collins, it kind of seems like you could replace him also. But at the same time, that production is no joke, man. Like, how are you going to replace guys like Leonard Floyd? But then Leonard Floyd didn't do well against the run also. But you lost these guys and they signed elsewhere. So who do you got? You got Yotur Mosgratos, who's kind of been okay. He just hasn't been a guy that you can count on as your starter. You look at Jordan Elliott at D tackle. Are you kidding me? Is that who we're going to go with? I mean, Kevin Givens, Kalia Davis. I just don't know, man. I don't know. Then you look at the defensive ends. You look at Sam Okawanu. He's kind of a great story, but can he be the guy? I don't know, man. He's going to have a lot more to develop on. So, Drake Jackson, he may not ever play a single down. His career may be over as we speak. Because that injury that he suffered, that's definitely career ending for him. Because if it's not encouraging from what John Lynch is saying, dude, then it can be the end for Drake Jackson. So, it's going to have to come down in the draft. Are we going to get like one defensive end or two? We'll see. But there's guys in the first round you can take, and maybe he can be a contributor starter right off the bat. But defensive tackle, I think you're going to have to look between 2 to 3 guys at the max. Can you fill those holes? Sure, you could. In the first round, if you want a guy who can fit into your system, get a Walter Nolan. If not, you can wait until the second round and go get Malik Williams or Kenneth Grant if you want to. But either way, you can still find some guys in day 3 that can replace that role, and you'll be just fine. Like, you look at C.J. West. You look at other guys like Jameer Caldwell, and then you look at guys like Ty Robinson, who can be a steal, but you never know. But you figure this is what the Niners need to do, man. They got to fix that. And last season was no different story. If we had a better defensive coordinator and a better guy that people respected a little more, then we would probably have had a better overall defense. But bringing Robert Saleh is pretty much bringing in a guy who could fix everything. He's supposedly the renovation, so he's cleaning up a lot of the bad stuff and make it into a good. So we're going to definitely find out what kind of guys we're going to bring on board. Because Robert Saleh does have some saying on players that he wants or coaching staff that he wants on defense. So we're going to get an idea of what player it is he wants. So we're going to see what type of defense we're going to get this year. Because Robert Saleh, the previous season with us, in 2020, he had a pretty solid defense. But then once he went to the Jets, it is what it is, He just didn't quite make the team to the playoffs, but they had a good, successful track record. But are we going to get an idea of what's going to happen in the draft with Robert Saleh? We'll see, man. Just got to see.